folks. Welcome to the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Cassandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the fam.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. It is Focus Friday. I don't know about you, but TGIF, my goodness. The week has been a good one, but it's been a long one. And regardless of how you categorize it, right, there's at least 4 days ahead of this one that has taken your time, that has taken your energy, that has taken your focus. And now that we are coming to the close of the work week, we can take a deep breath. We can start to relax. We can start to wrap up this week and prepare for the weekend and be mindful, be intentional, be focused on taking care of ourselves, giving ourselves the opportunity to rest and to recharge and do the things necessary so that we can hit the new week, next week, hit that one hard, ready to accomplish what we have in front of us there as well. The crew is here in full effect. We are all prayed up. We are energetic. We are excited, and we are ready to share what comes up to you, with you, through us, to you. We are ready to share. So we're going to start with today's quote, which I really like. I really like it, and you'll see why. But it makes you stop and think for a moment. And it's from Stephen Covey. And he said, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing, right? When I hear that, I'm thinking, he said focus. He said, be sure of what the priority is, what it is that you're focused on, and then pour everything that you have into that. Don't go to the left, to the right. Keep your focus, like the horses with the, what do you call those? With the blinders on, keeping them straight ahead towards their destination, keeping the main thing the main thing. I love that, right? I used to hear somebody say a shorter version of that all the time. Keep the main thing the main thing. But he got three of them in one sentence, which I just love. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing, right? So you don't want to get distracted. You don't want to be this divide and conquer thing. That only works if you're a part of a team and you're taking on multiple roles. Each person in the team has different responsibilities. Then you can divide and conquer. And it works quite effectively because you're all working towards a common goal, right? But each person has their own responsibility in getting you to that common goal. But when you're doing your own thing, when you're working towards your individual goal, even if it's a part of a collective, your goal is your main thing. The overall main thing is where the team is trying to go. But within that, every person has their individual responsibility, has their goal. That becomes your main thing. You're to focus on that and give that everything that you have, all of your attention, all of your energy, all of your resources go into that. And in doing so, you're going to have a better result than if you divided and conquered. If you, for a few minutes, were doing this and then you were back to that. If you don't create the opportunity for success, then you can't be upset with yourself when you're not successful. Your environment matters. Your time matters, your focus matters, your energy matters. It all matters. So you have to ask yourself, what do I need in order to make this goal a reality? You want to write a book, right? I wrote a book. And in order for me to do so, I had to create an environment to write where I was in a room by myself, free of distractions, hand and keyboard, lighting, quiet, every once in a while, some soothing music. If it was too loud or the rhythm was too much, that would be a distraction. You have to know that. What feeds your creativity? What is it that helps you to do what it is that you're trying to do? Create that space. And then you have to carve out the time for it. When are you going to do it? Every day for an hour. The last chapter, those last two chapters, for whatever reason, were so difficult for me to just finish. And I was telling my daughter one day how I was struggling I had written them, but I wasn't completely satisfied with them yet. So I'm editing, I'm reworking, and then I just hit a wall. And she said, Mom, quit trying to finish and just create an hour. And just for an hour, work on it and then put it away. Maybe it's only 30 minutes. You pick, Mom, but pick a time that's focused, dedicated time to just do the thing that you say you're going to do. She was like, just pick an hour and just do it for an hour and then be done with it. Come back to it later whenever you feel like it, but just get that hour to get you going again. Because I ran out of steam. And I was frustrated with myself. And because I was feeling that frustration, my focus was on how I was feeling more than the work that I was trying to get done, more than the goal. I gave in, right, temporarily to that frustration. And in doing so, I was killing my own creativity. I was killing my ability to get the job done, to get over that finish line. And it took one reminder, and I was like, oh, she's been listening to her mama, because that's exactly what I would have told her or anybody else. Just step back for a moment, step away from it, go for a walk, do whatever you need to do to clear your head, and then get back to it for a predetermined amount of time, to just do what you can do within that amount of time and then walk away again, just to get the juices flowing again. And it worked. And once I sat down for that hour, before I knew it, I was done. It was a wrap. I had finished up those last two chapters, and now that's behind me. We all go through those ebbs and flows of creativity, ebbs and flows of energy and focus, but we don't have to be victim to it. We have to remember that we have tools that can help us get back on track, right? We've been talking about it for a year and a half, I think, getting close to it. We've been talking about this stuff for a long time. And every once in a while, we just have to be reminded of the tools that we have, the ability that we have to craft the life that we want. And one of those primary tools is focus. And when you find yourself in a place where you can't focus, we start to war with ourselves, trying to force it through. Step away, give yourself a breather, get some sunshine, get the heart rate up, go walk a little bit, just let it go, don't fight it, and then come back in refreshed and carve out a little bit of time to dive back in and focus. Because you become in your mind your own distraction. You're fussing with yourself. I don't know why I can't get this done. If only this wouldn't happen or that wouldn't happen, I'd be finished by now. And we just go on. And before we know it, we've completely given in to that inner voice and to the frustration. And we forget that we've got the ability to shut all that out. It's choice, right? We can decide that we're going to do it differently. We can decide that we're going to focus, and we can get back to it. But give yourself some grace, give yourself the space to just take a breather, relax, and then get back into the flow of it and get it started again, small chunks. I was looking at the whole elephant. How am I going to knock out these last two chapters as quickly as I can so I can finally be done, because I just want to be done. And that's what I was focused on, the end. You have to have the end in mind so you know where you're going. But you can't forget the trip, right? I can't get from point A to point B without taking some steps along the way. I was trying to jump over those steps and get right to the final destination. The journey is just as important as the destination, because that's what's going to get you there. All the individual choices, the individual steps, step by step, choice by choice, decision by decision, day by day, you knock it out. But you have to do that first thing. Decide what that first step is and do it. And then do it again and do it again and do it again until you've reached your destination, right? Even if you're just going around to the corner store, you don't leap from your front yard to the store. You have to put on your shoes, grab your purse, walk to the front door, open the door, get into your car, start your car, back out. There are steps along the way before you ever get to that destination. We just typically don't think about those steps. They're autopilot. We've done it so many times, we just go through the motions. But there is nothing that you do that doesn't require steps for you to get there. If you can break down whatever it is that you desire into those steps and recognize that each one of those steps is important because they're pushing you to where you want to go. They're getting you out the house and to the corner store, right? Each individual step in and of itself seems like nothing, seems like no big deal. You're not even cognizant of it. But when you become cognizant, you realize they're all important. They're all decisions that I'm making. I even chose which pair of shoes I was going. I chose which route I was going to take to the store, right? If you got more than one vehicle, you chose which one you were going to get into. We're making these small, seemingly insignificant steps and choices all day long. And they're taking us somewhere. Are they taking you where you want to go? Are they taking you on the scenic route or are they getting you there the most efficient way? Those are the types of questions you want to ask yourself on a regular basis. Am I focused? Do I know what the steps are to get from where I am to where I want to be? Have I created the environment so that I can get there? Right? Have I? You have to have those good, honest conversations with yourself when you're serious about accomplishing something. And then each one of those steps becomes the main thing. And then you complete that one. And now the main thing is the next step. And you keep going and going and going, choice by choice, decision after decision, until you hit the ultimate main thing, which is the accomplishment of your goal. So the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Love that, Stephen Covey. That's an awesome quote. All right, we have a few people who have joined us and have been dropping in their comments. I want to take a look at those, and then Denise will be over to you. My mom, Aromatic Vision, says, "Good morning, fam." Conchita says, "Fabulous Friday, everyone. It is another amazing day." Yes, it is, because we have the gift of that day. So that in and of itself makes it amazing. Sonia says, "Good morning, fam." Sean Michael, "Good morning, amazing people." Good morning to you. Our dear friend Lisa is with us. She says, "Good morning, everyone, and to the fam. This is why I love showing up to the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Always receiving a message that I need to hear. I have a project that I've been struggling with finishing, but I will take your daughter's advice and dedicate an hour to it instead of forcing that creativity to appear." That's awesome, Lisa. I can go back to bed now. I say all the time, if I just reach one person, it's a day well spent. So glad to hear that resonated with you, Lisa, and best of luck on your project. I know it will be amazing. Hey, Alexis. Alexis, doing business as AIS Publications, says, "Good morning to everyone. We are glad to have each and every one of you guys with us, and so happy that you are engaged and already starting to drop those comments. We can't wait to hear more from you as we continue. And Denise, I am going to be quiet, at least temporarily, and give the mic to you so we can hear what you'd love to share with us this morning."
Good morning and grand rising. Yeah, you can go back to bed because you resonated. Everything you said resonated with me too. I love how you, I love how you opened up talking about how we can kind of get off a little bit. And this quote reminds me that sometimes we have so much going on just between family and everything. But I mean, even if we just stayed focused on the creative projects, we still have a lot going on. You might have
Yeah.
two or three things going on. You're trying to run your business, you're trying to write a book, you're working on a team project, you're building a website, whatever it is. And I had a thing happen on Wednesday. Today's Friday? On
Today's
Wednesday, where one of the projects I'm working on, a main person on the project sort of pivoted, like just pivoted, and it was unexpected and went in a different direction. And it was like, well, wait a minute. So if you go in that direction, it looks like my role changes or my responsibilities change. I got kind of confused because it was unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept me up Wednesday night. And it was disturbing. It was like disturbing in my brain because I couldn't process. And then I realized I had to focus on, wait a minute. What's Denise's role? What's my responsibility, not only to this project and to the team, but to myself, to myself first. And it took me a while. I was up until almost 3:30 a.m., which disturbed me the next day because it messed with my day yesterday. So what I did yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
after I ended up having like a nap or two, and what I did yesterday was refocus up. I prayed. I got centered back on my personal goals, my personal, what am I here for? Why am I a part of this team? How does it serve my life and my goals? Why am I here? That main thing, right? And once
Mm-hmm.
I did that and remembered why I'm a part of any team or any project, because projects do have to align with my personal values and goals, I got my head straight. I
Absolutely.
got my head wrapped around it, and I was like, okay, hold on a minute. Now I know my role. If they pivot and they have some new objectives for themselves, it doesn't affect my role here. It doesn't affect me necessarily. That's them. And if I communicate effectively, I don't have to stress out and be up until, so I slept real good last night. And sometimes we have to remember, as human beings, we get frustrated. It's natural. It's natural to sometimes look in the mirror and maybe be disappointed in your response, or even just not knowing what your response should be. And so I didn't beat up on myself for too long. I gave myself a little grace, and I was
Yay.
like, I was like, that's okay. It's okay that I got frustrated. It's okay that I got confused. I lost a little sleep over it. And I just had to refocus up. And I love the quote today. It's very fitting for where I was yesterday and Wednesday night, that I had to remember my main thing. I can't make your main thing my main thing. I'm a part of your support. I may be a part of your team, but your main thing is your main thing. My main thing is my main thing. Like, we each
That's
have
right.
our walk. We each have our journey. We each have our focus. And if I focus on my main thing first, my objective and my best self, I'm bringing my best self to the table. That's the only way I can really serve and kind of honor your efforts anyway, as being on the team. I can't be you or Jay or B. I say that all the time. I can only rock the best version of Denise. And sometimes things happen where I get a little off on that. And I'm trying to see, what does Cassandra need? What does this person need? What does that person need?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a reminder to myself, focus back up on my goals, my objectives, my qualities that I'm bringing to the table. Because that's the only way I can partner well with you anyway, is if I'm bringing that version of
Right.
myself. So, um, in the aftermath of any time I've been a little more stressed than usual, I always appreciate it. I always say to God, thank you so much. Like, I got that lesson. I got that lesson yesterday. And I was so grateful. Yesterday, I was like, okay, it didn't take me as long. Last year, that had took me a week. It might have floored me for a week. I might have been diving into some Ben and Jerry's or something, all like, I don't know why I did this. But, now it takes me a minute sometimes now. And I look and I say, no, that's okay. Okay, here's what I'm meant to learn. Here's how I could have done better communicating. Here's what I should have been focused on the moment that the pivot happened. And it may not be immediate. That's part of the human experience. And I don't have to beat up on myself when sometimes maybe the negative emotion hits before the lesson. The
Mm-hmm.
frustration hit before the lesson. I appreciate it. The main thing is the main thing is the main thing this Friday morning. And so happy to be here. I'm really blessed. Thank you for the quote. Thank you for the preset and your little lesson in it, because that really resonated with me for where this week it took me on a little bit of a journey and a pivot and some surprises. But I feel great coming out of it. And again, I've been saying this a lot, but I don't know if I've said it here. I just feel like my more mature and adult self. I'm so proud of that.
Adulting.
Adulting at its best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's an awesome share. And I hope that I have an assignment for everybody, myself included. We are going to be like Denise the next time we find ourselves in some sort of emotional turmoil, or we've showed up a little bit less than how we would have liked to. Tell yourself that it's okay. Do exactly what Denise says and tell. We have to learn to honor our emotions. When we learn to honor our emotions and realize that they're signaling us to something, they're trying to get our attention. Something's not right, be it internal or external. Something is not unfolding the way we planned, or some boundary has been crossed, but something is not going well. And we need to be aware of that. And our emotions are those signal lights. They're just flashing. They're flashing to get our attention. And when we realize that, and when we allow ourselves to feel our feelings and we honor those feelings, then we are in a position to see what they're pointing us to, take that in, and make any necessary adjustments. When we try to push them down, when we ignore them, when we don't take the time to dive into what it is they're trying to signal us to in the first place, they get in the driver's seat. They can overtake us. And then we do show up in all kinds of different ways, frustrated, upset, lashing out, whatever. And we don't even know why. But hear what Denise said. Her processing of her situation took her a lot less time than it would have before. What would have taken her a week to get over was a day or less. And it's because of the work that she's doing and grabbing hold of those tools. And those tools eventually become our automated responses, right? We talk about living on autopilot and being in those default emotions showing up. When we do the work, we replace the negative emotions with the positive responses that we're working on. That's why it's important to listen to those emotions, see what's underneath them. Why am I being triggered? So that you have the opportunity to continue to take control, take the reins, right, of your life, adjust where you need to, and get right back in the race. Because otherwise we just get led around by our emotions, or we're a ticking time bomb because we've pushed them and pushed them and pushed them. We've learned that, we think of emotions as good and bad. They just are. They just are. If I'm angry, that's not necessarily a bad thing if I just got punched in the face, right? Of course I'm angry, but I need to see what that violation is. Where have I been crossed? Oh, I was punched in the face. That's why I'm feeling this way. So now I can deal with the situation and not all the emotions of the situation. How did I end up getting punched in the face? Did I step in between two people that were fighting and I didn't even notice because I was off doing something else? Did I get into an altercation with somebody? Did I punch myself in the face trying to get you have to see what's going on. Why are you feeling the way you're feeling? And when you understand that, what's this emotion telling me? Duck. Duck next time. Don't just stand there when two fists are trying to hit each other and you walk right in the middle. You missed what was happening around you. You weren't paying attention to all the steps. You were already focused down the road. Our emotions are valid. They are there for a reason. Now, how we respond to them is where the work comes in, right? Just because something has come undone doesn't mean that it's a license for me to behave badly. It doesn't mean that it's justified in me taking some drastic action. So it's the response to the emotions that we're working on as we grow and develop. It's not getting rid of the emotions in the first place. They wouldn't be there. We wouldn't have been born with them if they didn't have a place, if they didn't have a purpose. So honor them so that you can learn from them and continue to evolve. Denise was a perfect example of that. So Lisa says, loving it, Denise O'Malley, giving yourself grace and allowing that human experience to occur without fighting it is so important. And then my mom says, yes, Denise, sudden pivots can bring distractions and confusion, but when we pray and give it to God, he works it out. We can then take off again. Lots of clapping and hearts. So continuing to resonate. So thank you for a great example, Denise, of how we can keep the main thing, and how we also can evaluate ourselves and see the growth in ourselves. It should make you feel good when you realize. You remember I had that day the other day. I jumped on here so excited, even though throughout the whole session, my I don't know if my internet was slow or what it was. I would say something. It was like the old kung fu movies. I would say something and then I would see. And it was such a distraction. It was, and if I had given into it, I don't know. I just wouldn't have been able to stay in it. But I chose to just not even give it any energy, not to look at it, because if I gave it just a little bit, it was going to pull me in. Because I like things to go the way they're supposed to go. I know that about myself. And when things go off the rails a little bit, if I'm not careful, I'll allow it to drag me right along with it. And I was so happy that day that despite everything that was going on, we were still here. We were in it. We were getting things done. We kept the main thing main, and we did not lose focus. So, Brian, how are you doing? We'd love to hear from you. Anything you want to share with us this morning?
Hey, Grand Rising, everyone. I'm really
Grand
loving this
Rising.
conversation. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. You know, we focus so much on doing what we want to do, the things we have to do, that we forget sometimes to focus on just doing nothing. So sometimes the focus needs to just be on just being, right? You don't always have to be doing. Sometimes you can just be being. Relax, enjoy where you are. And then I forgot who said it. Was it Mama J? You know, sometimes you gotta step out and let God do what He's doing, and then you jump back in. And when you do, you find yourself back at it with even more energy, even more motivation, determination. You just got this newfound sense of uh, uh, life, right? That you didn't have before because you felt like you were losing it because you stayed in it so long, you were focused on it so long. Stop focusing on doing, just focus on being sometimes. That's what I'm picking up here. I love that. I love that.
Very good. Very good. And we kind of started talking about that, right? By the time you get to Friday, for me, I've noticed because we are patterned. We experience go through similar patterns over and over again. And when we learn our patterns, it is so beneficial to understand how you're working. And I've noticed now by Thursday, I wake up tired. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are my heavy meetings in the week. There's a lot going on. There's after hours stuff. I have class on Mondays. I have rehearsal on Tuesdays. By the time Thursday comes around, I'm pretty tired, right? And I've noticed that. So it's like, all right, can I get to bed a little earlier the first 3 days of the week to try to give myself that extra oomph to get through the last two? You can make decisions like that for yourself when you notice your patterns. And the other great thing about noticing your patterns, when you find something that is not working well for you, you disrupt that pattern, right? Maybe I have a pattern of on Wednesday nights, there's a show I like to watch, so I stay up a little bit later. And I've been doing it for so long that I'm not even cognizant of it. It's just a part of my routine. But noticing that every Thursday I'm really dragging, maybe that's the little tweak I need. Record it, watch it on Saturday when when your schedule's not so impacted. And so you can make decisions. So knowing your patterns, knowing when you need to make some adjustments is powerful. It gives you even more ability to be successful and move through and towards your goals a lot faster. But part of that is that nothing time, being able to shut down and just being able to relax, being okay and comfortable with just being with yourself or with your family, however you recharge, but allowing that to be and being okay with it. My mom said, thank you, Mr. Content. Yes. Conchita says, Brian is speaking truth. to power this morning. When we allow our selves to just be, that's when God often does his greatest work within us. There is great value in just being. Absolutely. It's always been that way for me. And especially when I get those divine downloads that I talk about, a lot of times I'm in that in between space of being conscious and unconscious where I'm just kind of waking up and getting started, or I'm drifting into sleep and I'm quiet. My body has relaxed. The brain is not doing all the stuff that it usually does. That's when I get some of my best ideas. That's when I get those divine downloads. That space of nothingness and just existing and being is a very powerful place, and that is where we meet God. Lisa says, "Preach, Brian." All right. So, Jay, I think we are over to you, sir. What is it that you would like to share today?
Focus Friday. thank
Focus Friday.
yeah, thank God it's finally here. Right. I read that somewhere on LinkedIn. It's awesome. Um, you know, I had some time this morning and I took that time to write out a post. And the post was about
Love that post.
thank you. Um, I am a it started out with saying I am a descendant of warriors.
Mm,
And the the point of the post was to discuss resilient storytelling, but I did it in such a way where I discussed resilient storytelling by sharing my story of understanding my heritage and where I come from, my DNA, where tenacity and
mm,
fortitude are encoded in that very DNA. It's that determination, that focus to move forward, even in the face of adversity. And so I wanted to share that. You know, there have been some things and some struggles that I've been dealing with lately. And I just wanted to say to the world, hey, you ain't got me the way you think you got me. Go on, get. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. And so I'm gonna, I'm gonna come out of this swinging. And that comes from being focused. And um, I'm going to go to uh, book 7 of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 25 through 26. Let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you.
mm.
Ponder the path of your feet, then all your ways will be sure. Really, what this talks about is by maintaining focus, being determined, and carefully considering your actions, you can really navigate through life with confidence and assurance, knowing that you're on the right track towards that desired destination. And Brian talks about it all the time. If you've got that definite objective,
Mhm.
that's going to help you with that focus. And for a lot of believers, the definite objective is serving God while in service of others. And so,
Yep.
and so service and purpose for me is helping others tell their story, which goes back to that post I posted today on LinkedIn. And um, sorry, I'm messing up your algorithm.
No, it's
but,
okay. I do it all the time. I do it all the time.
but but I want people to read that and see the example, right? What that looks like, because uh, it's not just storytelling to tell a story. It's storytelling to really impact the people that need to have that impact, resonating with someone because of the story that you're able to tell. And if I'm, as a believer, and able to walk in my purpose, not just helping businesses, but truly helping people understand that their story is important, and we can share that with the rest of the world, that helps my focus, but it helps others
Hmm.
with their focus. And but the the spark that led us here was divine, but it was also through him that Cassandra was able to bring me in to the fold. And this is how things align because of that focus. I hope that made sense.
I'm tracking. I'm tracking right with you, brother.
All right, cool.
We do have some comments as well. Alexis says, amazing insights this AM. The insights are resonating with me. Conchita says, love that post, Jay. It's fuel for my day. Good read, everyone. And Alexis says, storytelling with purpose. So yes, resonating, tracking, it's all makes sense. I love that scripture. It's so perfect for um the main thing is to keep the main thing. If you are focused on your steps, your focus continues to move forward with you. You're not looking backwards, you're not looking forward. You are grounded in the present moment, the step that you're taking, the step that you're on right now. And that's the magic, guys. And that's where so few of us actually live in the present. We're either bemoaning the past, missing the past, or stressing about the future. But real life is right now. We can't go back and redo what was done, that's gone. And we don't know how deep into this future we're actually going to get, how it's going to unfold. If is it actually going to be how we're worried about it being? We don't know. But what's happening right now is where our power is. That's where we get to experience life for real as it is. So if we focus on the steps that we're taking, the very step that we're on right now, and we put everything into that moment, we experience our lives at the fullest, and we're directing and following the path to the goals that we've set for ourselves. The magic is in the moment, the present moment. So I love that verse. And that was the part that jumped out at me so clearly, is focusing on the step that you're taking right now. What are you doing? What's happening in that step? What's happening around you? That's what's where life is. It's not back there. It's not ahead of you. It's right now. So find the richness in that moment. What can you get? What can you create? How can you be? How can you experience this step to its fullest? And then you take the next step and you do the same thing and the next step. And before you know it, you've gotten to the goals that you set, but you haven't just gotten from point A to point B. You've had a journey and you've actually experienced that journey. So I love it, love it, love it. Let's see. Lisa says, walking in your purpose and being in service to God is by being in service to others. So powerful, Jay. I also read your post this morning. Loved it. And then Aromatic Visions, which is my mom, said, amen, Cassandra Terry. So I got some of the hearts and claps too, Denise. She's passing out the hearts and claps this morning, y'all. So I think mom is pleased. All right. So we have done what we came to do, right? We've made our way around the room. We've shared the quote. We've heard from you guys, and you have enriched the experience. So we are grateful for each one of you. So I think our Focus Friday is coming to an end. But before it does, I want to remind you again, just the way we started, wrap up your week. Look back at the plans that you've had for this week. What are the things that you've yet to finish? Those are the things that I'm assuming or encouraging you to pull to the top of your list today. Knock them out, wrap that week up, and start your R&R. Get as much rest and relaxation as you possibly can this weekend. And then Sunday night or Monday morning, decide the 2 or 3 things that you're going to accomplish on Monday. And then at the end of the day on Monday or early on Tuesday, decide the things that you're going to do on Tuesday. And day by day, choice by choice, decision by decision, watch yourself accomplish the goals that you have for yourself. Start small. 2 or 3 things. My day's not done until I knock out these 2 or 3 things. What is that? It's setting your intention, which we talk about every Wednesday. And then it's giving you what it is that you need to focus on in order to accomplish your goals. If you do that by the end of the week, somewhere between 15 things you've accomplished towards your goals just by doing 2 or 3 things a day. And I don't mean the big, grandiose gestures. 2 or 3 tasks that you can complete that are going to move you towards your goal. Is it writing for 30 minutes a day, an hour a day? Is it going out for a walk every day because you're trying to get the blood circulating and start to shape up? What is it? Is it making the choices that today I'm only going to drink water and not those sugary drinks? You decide and you write those things down and you keep them in front of you every day, 2 or 3 things. And watch what a rich, fulfilling, productive week you will have next week. But in order for you to do that, you've got to recharge the battery. And we're getting real close to recharge time, depending on where you are in the world. And make sure that your weekend has that built in. Sometimes I don't get out of bed on Saturdays. I just do what I need to do from there, me and the remote control, and I just relax and rest and recharge because I've run hard all week long. Stay in the PJs all day. Love it. Love it. But it reminds me, because if I get up and I get dressed and I start moving, I want to get right back into productivity mode. And before you know it, I've had another full day. And now it's Sunday. And then it's Monday. And I've started all over again. And I haven't had a chance to rest at all. So know yourself. Keeping my PJs on keeps me mentally in the space of rest. So it's just a little way I trick my mind, right? To get into that space. So know yourself, know your patterns, and create the environment that you need to accomplish what it is that you intend to accomplish. And at least one day this weekend, let it be a day of nothing. I'm going to rest, I'm going to recharge, and I'm going to prepare myself for the week ahead. And if you do that, I guarantee you, next week will be one of those weeks where you'll blow your own mind. Rest and then 2 or 3 things a day. All right. That is it for today, guys. Before I close us out, I want to give the fam a chance. Any final thoughts before we go, or are you guys all good?
I love the PJ trick. I do that myself. It's a great mental thing. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. If nothing else, we will see you guys back here Tuesday, 7:15 a.m. for Transformation Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend, and we cannot wait to
Thank you for joining us
there.
today. Make sure you join us every week, Tuesday through Friday, 7:15 a.m., Central Time for the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any member of the FAM Collective on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. See you back on